I got the moves. I got the moves. Oh, I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta make the city move. Like, whoa. I make the city move. I got the move.
The playoffs are finally here. It's been a while, but we can finally watch some quality basketball being played. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at the opening round matchup for the Houston Rockets, the Utah Jazz, and predicting the series, the team's strengths and weaknesses, the player who needs to step up, the key to success, every little detail. I'll be doing this for every Houston series and maybe other series if they're interesting enough during these playoffs. If you guys enjoy the video and want to see more, subscribe for more NBA content. I'm going to be dropping a lot of bangers over the playoffs and off season, so stay tuned for that. But with that being said, let's take a look at this first round matchup. The Houston Rockets are coming off a great season, and though they only ended up as a 4th seed, they actually had the potential to get the 2nd seed, but that would require the Blazers and Nuggets to lose their final games, and that didn't happen. They had a very rough start to the season, and most of the year was plagued with injuries, but James Harden has pretty much single-handedly taken this team into the position they are in. Now with the team fully healthy, they're ready to do some damage in the playoffs. The Utah Jazz also had a slow start to their 2019 season, but they have also pushed themselves hard enough to get into this position. Donovan Mitchell started his season with a so-called sophomore slump, but he's back to playing at a high level, and along with Gobert and Rubio, the Jazz are looking to pull off some more upsets these playoffs. So, what are the strengths and weaknesses of each team? Let's start with the Rockets. Strengths: shooting. An obvious one to start, the Rockets are an amazing team from the 3-point line and shooting in general. Look at their recent effort where they hit 27 threes in one game. And it makes sense as they have one of the best shooters in the league in James Harden and brilliant spot-up shooters like PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, etc. Playmaking. Though the Rockets run through James Harden a lot and he scores most of their points unassisted, the Rockets still have some great playmakers on their team which add to the already superb starting lineup. Chris Paul is a for sure Hall of Fame playmaker, and along with others, they are a major positive for the Rockets. With that being said though, the Rockets do have a couple of weaknesses that need to be talked about. Weaknesses: depth. Though they have made it work this season, the Rockets have actually really poor depth throughout this season. They have a bunch of players who could easily be in the G League, but somehow they have made it work in their system. However, the lack of decent players off the bench may be exposed during the playoffs. Defense. The Rockets may be good at offense, but the other side of the court, not so much. Though they do have a few decent defenders in their lineup, like Chris Paul and Clint Capella, they are still ranked in almost the bottom 10 in defensive net rating, which is not good at all. So there are all the strengths and weaknesses for the Rockets, so let's move on to the Utah Jazz. Strengths for the Utah Jazz. Defense. The Utah Jazz are simply phenomenal on the defensive side of the ball. You can see how much effort they put into this area of the game. The presence of Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert obviously helps a lot, and this will be essential versus the Rockets. They are ranked 2nd in the league in defensive net rating, so this just proves how good they are and can be come Sunday's game versus the Rockets. Chemistry. One thing that is great about the Jazz is the great bond and chemistry the teammates have with each other. I haven't heard of any interior drama within the team, and you can see how they love playing with each other, and this will be a major positive in the playoffs. But like any team, the Jazz have weaknesses too. So what are they? Scoring. Apart from Donovan Mitchell and maybe Joe Ingles efficiency wise, I don't really know anyone else on this team that can score the ball well at a consistent level or shoot at a consistent level too. The Jazz aren't really a team built like that, so they're probably going to be relying heavily on players like Mitchell to do most of their scoring in the playoffs. And that will conclude the strengths and weaknesses for both teams. What players need to step up the most for their teams in this series though? Let's start with the Rockets, and I actually have 2 players for them. The first player is Chris Paul. CP3 has proved to be essential for the Rockets this past season and in last season's playoffs. When the Rockets are shooting poorly, or if James Harden is having an off game, Paul normally steps up and starts to take the lead for the Rockets. Instead of praying to get out of shooting slump, he drives to the rim, pulls up in the mid-range and doesn't rush possessions. There is proof he's done this in the Western Conference Finals last year, And when the Rockets played in Game 7 without him, they missed 27 straight threes. If Chris Paul was there, I guarantee that wouldn't have happened, but unfortunately it did, and the Rockets lost that game. But the games are there to prove he is a vital player for the Rockets when they are down. The second player for the Rockets that needs to step up is Clint Capella. In the series last year versus the Jazz, one of the main reasons why the Jazz lost was because Capella neutralized and outplayed Gobert. If he can do that again, this series may be over quicker than we think. For Utah, I'm going to have to say Donovan Mitchell and whoever guards James Harden. Donovan Mitchell needs to step up big time playmaking and scoring wise for the Jazz, as those are their two biggest weaknesses. He played a major role in the upset of OKC last year, and he'll need to have performances like that again if they want to do that. And at this point, I don't know who will be guarding James Harden in the series, but whoever does needs to lock him down, because he's going to be the Rockets' biggest weapon in the playoffs. They need to play extremely physical defense on him and get right in his face. If you want a full breakdown on that, watch my video on how to stop James Harden and the Houston Rockets, card appearing in the top right corner for you guys right now, so go watch it if you want. But the gist of it is, play physical defense and disrupt his offensive flow. If the Jazz can do that, they may get an upset win in this series. But with all that being said, what is my final prediction for this series? If I'm being honest, I think the Rockets will come out on top in 5 games. I see the Jazz taking a game at home, but other than that, the Rockets are too powerful, have too much talent, and if they hit their shots, it's game over for the Jazz. Utah can't match that. And honestly, I can't see James Harden being locked down for 4 whole games. I just can't see that happening. But that will conclude the video. What do you guys think? Who will win, Houston or Utah, and in how many games? Let me know in the comments below. Also, sorry if my voice sounds a bit stuffy in this video, currently got a cold, so I apologize about that. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.